What's happening? What's happening? This is Jose Trujillo once again, world's greatest living artist. This time with a glass of water. Sometimes I do it differently, you know. Sometimes the coffee just doesn't cut it anymore. So I'm gonna be doing a charcoal sketch drawing for you guys here. Okay, it's a charcoal drawing. We're gonna keep it super nice, awesome, simple, and let's get started. All right, let's do this. So there's different ways of doing it. You know, we can do it with something like this, which I love using, or we can do it with some actual charcoals. Guys, if you like it, if you are into this type of dealio, give me some corazones. Let me know that you're here. I can't really go back and forth. Corazones are hearts, guys. Remember, I'm the Spanish speaking master. Master. All right, let's get some charcoal paper. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. This is something that I like to practice with on a day-to-day, however you want to. However, it's not only great practice, but it keeps me loose. So it's not only I'm learning stuff, but I'm also keeping it light, you know, moving. There's a misconception with being loose, and I'll show you right now. I'm gonna paint a field. I've been doing lavender field paintings lately. I just like them. I love them. I did a couple commissions like that, so I'm into them right now. So it doesn't only keep me, how do you call it? It doesn't only keep me loose. I mean, I'm not only learning new stuff, but it keeps me loose. And as an artist, I feel like being loose, for me, right, it's very important. And what I was trying to say, that I lost my train of thought because I was like, I got into the painting, right? I got into the drawing. But I lost my train of thought is no, I'm not drawing from a picture. I'm drawing out of memory because I've done enough drawings of them. Let me show you some. I do some ink washes and stuff like that. So I keep this thing flowing. So it's this is memory. So what has helped me understand something is that in doing this type of work, you know, this loose brush work, man, I keep losing my train of thought. Sorry guys, because I'm really getting into this je ne sais quoi. There's a misconception, is what I was trying to say. There's a misconception on being loose, you know, and having a loose hand when you're drawing, when you're painting. People think that you lose control. It's not necessarily that you lose control. You actually gain more control. If you practice, you gain more control, but you get to dictate where that goes and how you use that control. You know, a lot of people have asked me, like, well, do I have to, like, because I don't want to lose control. I paint realism, and I like to learn how to paint more realistic. But I like your loose brush approach, and on. So people ask me these questions, and I'm like, no. This is not about like just shooting from the hip. No, if you do realism, like, practice that. You know, practice the realism. This is not about like, just do whatever you want, shoot from the hip. No, if you're learning a style, keep practicing that style. What this thing is about is that it's very kung fu, guys. This is really what it is. It's very kung fu. I've heard Bruce Lee talk about the whole Jeet Kune Do thing, right? In movies and whatnot, because where else, right? So he talks about being like water. Being like water. This is not just some concept that I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna adopt, that, and I'm gonna talk about it, and it's gonna sound super cool and zen. And no, this is stuff that I've learned over the years. This is stuff that I've learned. And when I heard Bruce Lee talk about it, or when I reheard, because I had already heard that in movies when I was a kid, but when I reheard that, I was like, man, I get that. I see what this cat was talking about. I get it. This cat was talking about being flexible, being nimble, moving, not being stuck in one area, and being able to be like water and flow. And if you get a wall right here, and you're very you're very vertical. You're like I only paint, like this, and very realistic, and this is what I do. That's great. That's great. But if you hit a wall and you don't know how to adapt to it, a learning wall, right? Every learning experience comes with different challenges, different walls, right? A marathon runner told me this. Every time that you're running certain miles, you hit a certain wall. It's the block, right? The runner's wall or whatever. It happens to everybody. We call it artist block. And when you don't know how to become nimble, like water, it doesn't matter where you pour it in. The shape of the container, the water will adapt to that shape of the container. That shape. This is the same damn thing with painting. This is why I love to keep it loose. It's not because I want to do it abstract. Some people have asked me this. Abstract painters have asked me this stuff, and they're like, man, so all you have to do is paint abstract. No, if you paint abstract, paint abstract. If you paint realism, paint real. I've seen some people paint, like, for example, this is one of my statements, right? John Singer Sargent, we all know, like, this very delicate portrait painter, right? The quintessential portrait artist, John Singer Sargent. We always talk about him. People that we hear about John Singer Sargent all the time. That's my signature, by the way. The world's greatest living artist. And we don't think of him as being like this kind of loose brush, but in his time, it was very loose brush. It was, even though he had mastered realism, there was a looseness to it. I can see it in Goya. There's all kinds of videos online. You hear about Velázquez, when he reached certain maturity, in his artwork, he started becoming more loose. It didn't necessarily mean he was more abstract. What it meant, it was that he was more, it was a free flow. He kept his realism, but it was a free flow. Some artists don't keep the realism, like Monet. Monet started becoming more expressionist, right? Some artists don't keep the realism. They morph somewhere else. But many artists don't necessarily need to morph somewhere else. They keep that thing that they're doing, and then they shape into whatever's coming next. And that's really my whole spiel on this kind of thing. Check that out, guys. I know I bore the hell out of a couple of people here and there, but you know what? It's just the way it is. This is the way it is. You get talk with art. It's art talk and painting and whatnot. So there it is, guys. This is how I do it, okay? There's different ways of doing it, but this is how I do it. The name is Jose Trujillo. I am the world's greatest living artist, guys. And I just wanted to share this little moment with you. I hope that you guys are, taking advantage of little time, little talks with the artists here. If you guys have any questions or whatever, shoot a question. Let me know. Let me maybe I can answer it. I don't know. I don't know everything, but I have some experience in my belt, and I love to help with whatever I can. So thank you so much, guys. The whole idea of creating artwork in a daily way is, I also wanted to touch on that, is so that you also become more flexible. My whole spiel on creating artwork is becoming flexible. And that way you don't get stuck. You're like, man, I don't have the right reference photo. I don't know what to do. You don't get stuck, because now you have memories. You have stacked up memories, and you have stacked up practice where you know where to move and what to do. So I'll leave you guys with that. Thank you so much. Take care, and I will talk to you guys soon again. Bye-bye.